Okay, I'm back in the Prokofiev Sixth Sonata, first movement, heading towards the second theme, but there's this wonderful section that had me a little mystified. Let's see what's going on. Seems to be, if we can think in standard harmonic terms, getting to the C. There's a sort of C7th with added notes. This is Prokofiev, after all, that seems to be heading us there. But and also there's this wonderful big leading tone. We had a C just before in the bass. Lots of. Is not held, but it's still there in my estimation, in our recollection. It's reiterated. So, I still have not figured out what's going on here. It's about as far removed from C as we can get, I guess. We get C sharps and F sharps. So this heads to F sharp to C sharp. That's an outline of a C sharp. Does it again. Okay. Gets out of the sharp world. So he seems to be setting up a stridency, a conflict against that C. On the other hand, if I examine just the right hand, there's a G7th, for example. There's very little in the way of black notes, just really near the end, just to clarify that G7th again. So the right hand is pointing to C, the left hand is obscuring the issue. Now, physically, I think that's just as interesting. He's got these fifths with a sixth added, opening up to these twelfths. Excuse me, ninths. Double piles of fifths. So that's a physical convenience, a learning convenience. You get two of the same kind of gesture. Then he does it again. So even though we're in 4/4, it's like these are offbeats too. 1 and 2 and 2. Then he reiterates this, but starting on the end of 2, the second time around. Then this. Then the voicing changes a little. He compacts the chord, but still with the same kind of pairings. Not so mystifying, but against the left hand, we feel there's a sort of bitonality. That's nice. Open up. So the just me in terms of learning what pair together. This is a pair. This is a pair. I'll just mark those. I can feel those easily enough, but it doesn't hurt. So I have this to this, this to that. Whoops. An extension. Now, this to that, this to that. it's fortissimo. Okay. Should not be hard for my left hand to find its way. These notes are under the hand. Falling 7, falling 7. Fill out the octave. Whoops. Do I need to make some kind of a decision on fingering? Now for my hand, I'm going to associate all 4 of these notes with one another. I mean 1, 3, 5. Nice chord in the left hand. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Those relationships. Suffice it to say, what makes me feel good, though, is those groupings become more and more significant and apparent. Okay, here we are at the second theme. Again, choices in the contemporary piano between this kind of pedaling with the damper pedal against that B. Or sostenuto. Well, of course, the only one, I got to be careful here, he's written a held B, but not a held G from the right hand. So that would mean if I am to sostenuto pedal it, I'm going to let it go. Which brings up another possibility. If I want a big gap, if I want a smaller gap, I can have my left hand take over or play the G, let go, and my right hand will be already ready. I rather like that because it gives me more choice. I can time the amount of space I want. What he's written, a grace note to this major 10th. I can do that, it's a little cumbersome. But it's so much easier to just take the left hand, the right hand part, or the part that's written as the right hand part, play in the left hand. It's measure 47, so. Fifth finger is fine. Let me try that again. Boy, if I wanted no gap at all, second theme. we have sustain lines and singing lines, especially shared between the hands. To be aware right from the first of where the melodic line is. This D is not part of the primary line, so it's really important to voice it differently. A little less here. It's also important to know when to let go, because the left hand turning to the right hand, it's individual notes. So you're not going to get singers singing two notes at once. G sharp. Playing the triplet easily requires me to let my arm guide my fingers. If I just do it with the hand position over those keys, the fingers will get jammed into the keys, so I have to move more. Second finger on the F sharp in 47, 8, 9. That will get me to the thumb on D and set that up much more comfortably. That's good. Second to thumb, perfect. One in both hands. Okay, start fresh. Because I'm curious, I want to know. Okay, so the melody is exactly the same in the second statement, measure 52. It's accompanied differently. It's set differently, in other words, but it's exactly the same, even as to register, then the rhythm starts to change. A lot of things stay the same. Let's compare. Used to be. Now it's. So that's definitely just a variation on what came before. Now. So here we have. Instead of, well, in the first version, 2, 3, 4, then we go into quarter notes. 2, 3, 4. So in the second version, so we still get to see and occupy the same amount of space. This turns into, with the syncopation, a slight anticipation of the fourth beat, and then anticipation of the second beat. Same exact notes, just different rhythms. Okay, so that's what I needed to know. it's just rhythmically changed, and a little doodad here instead of have a little turn. But other than that, the statement occupies the same amount of space and goes to exactly the same places. This is very useful to know. Okay, here, one of those quandaries about decision making. He wrote a slur to link these melody notes. I can't possibly play the A, B in measure 52 with my left hand. So if I want to link it, I have to pedal. If I play sostenuto pedal in an effort to hold just the chord, then it will break my melody. So in this case, I could play sostenuto pedal for the sake of that chord, and then use the damper pedal the rest of the way. So that will be present. So I'm going to think about that. I'm thinking. Okay, this is just rather extended pile of thirds. I can't say they're all major or minors. I don't even want to bother with how big that chord is. It's a tall chord with a whole bunch of white note thirds. So they all do their minor, minor, major, 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 minor, major, minor, major, etc. They go up to B from B. Okay. Fingering wise, whatever it's convenient. Probably something like 5, 1, 4, 5, 4, 2, 1, 4. Okay, for now that's what I'm going to do. 5, 4, and then 14. So one group, another group. Whoops. And the octave comes up, goes down the way it came up. Okay, it's worth a little time when the rhythm changes in the right hand. And I have an imitation, so that adds a little bit of intrigue. So I have, effectively, let's say, that imitation, good counterpoint. That's use of what I call modeling. In other words, if at all possible you find an end result that sounds pleasing to you and that is comfortable, then they have nothing to do with the ultimate solution in terms of fingering, gesture, or even hand division, but that best represents the end result as early as possible. So this gives me a much better experience for the dialogue, because I actually have two close to independent hands. And that gives me a model for where I'm heading. So then I have to decide, well, so I'm going to use Prokofiev's markings to help me make my decision. He has not linked these descending chromatic seconds, minor seconds together. In fact, every one of those notes is indicated without a slur. That, to my advantage, if they're all thumb notes. He hasn't linked the top notes either, which is also good. I can go for clarity. Good. same as before. Snap. Here we go. So there's a little bit of motivic development. Mixed in with some fourth samples. Obviously not intensely thematic here, so we've got a figure that's leading us somewhere else. He wrote here, without slurs, he wrote the word legato, so I'm going to circle it, lest I ignore it. Although I was doing it anyway. The other thing, I'm playing a fingering without thinking about it. I may want to notate some of it. It's working very well. Play 5 notes. They're slightly weirdly distributed in the hand, but they keep life very simple. And they're easy to play. Oh, how very convenient. Prokofiev is showing the line extending, but I'm also going to take advantage of the fact that that makes a nice hand division in measure 62. So left hand, one more note, and then the right hand takes over. If I want any of these notes to be played in the right hand, I'll have to shift my fingering. So I'm on thumb here. If I go to 3, that works very nicely. I'll go to 3. So it's 1 to 3. Whoops. Yeah, one more note makes a nice difference. 5, 4. I'll be on 1 on the left hand D the first time, then I'll start a new hand group on 4. That'll get me up to thumb, and then just 3 notes for the right hand. So, and I'm going to turn on 3rd. A little attention. Well, you know, I'm sure those of you who've played this piece will be saying, okay, stuff is going to happen, but at the very least, all the solutions I've found so far feel really good. They contribute to the sonority, they contribute to my sense of well-being. It feels like an intensely pianistic piece written by a composer who was a pianist, a strong pianist as well, and that always feels good. So that's a little iffy. If I had my druthers, going to avoid thumbs on black notes and maybe not even fifths. We'll see. Oh, that works. 2, 4, and 66. 2, 4, 1, and then 1. Because there are so many black notes in a row. Natural. I want to make sure I'm aware of that. 4 black notes. Okay. Not great. Ran out of finger. So the bottom it's going to either be 4, 3, 2, 1. Which is to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. If it's 2, 3, 4, 5. Backwards, because you figure out how they turned out and decide if that's appropriate. I do that often to figure out a decent fingering. Can I get to 1 on B? I don't know. It's not bad. Let's see. I'd much rather both of those black notes in one hand position, white notes in one hand position. So. Oh well. You never know. I usually try to get my thumb after a bunch of black notes. Brings my hand back out to where it's comfortable, but sometimes, like here, I'm going, playing this augmented chord to D, and then easily able to pivot to my thumb on B, which sets up the next two notes, an F sharp chord, and then a chromatic. Boy, I do like that today. Always that proviso. So. Augmented chord with 1, 2, 4, and then 1, 2, 4. So I've got 3 1, 2, 4s in a row, I think. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Each one of them feels dramatically different. The tilted augmented chord, the one with the 1 and 2 side by side with 1 on a white note and 2 on a black note, that's very comfortable. And shifting to F sharp, not bad. And the fingering helps to teach me the notes. In other words, the ins and outs, the intervals, the directional changes, the groupings. assume that his legato indication applies still here. So I'm going to make my physical solutions, including pedaling. Oops. Maybe I'll do a finger substitution then. So that's 1 to 5. Then I'll turn my hand over. That's very nice. I rather suspect I'm not going to care that much about the finger legato and help with the pedal instead. Taking the time to remember each of those left-hand groups. I don't want to be staring at them right now. Ultimately, when I know my right-hand rhythm better, maybe I can not look at my right hand then. Too much about too many things. My right hand has to be so well known that's not at all distracting to the left, because my left hand still needs attention. So, and one of the simplest ways of doing that is staring at the left hand part in the score and insisting that I not look at the right hand part. Lo and behold, just as I expected. Remember the augmented. Didn't help me to write 4-3, 5-4, because it didn't remind me, measure 65, that I also wanted a third finger. I'm using up all 5 fingers, so I just need that grouping. I'll write the 5-note grouping. Get to the B. Gotta get to B. Fingering failed me. It should have been simpler. That's not worth it. I'm going to go to thumb on the top A. I'm going to let go and pedal. And that sets me up for later. Think? It's not that it needs a lot of thought. It just needs steady. I don't mean rhythmic steadiness, I mean emotional steadiness. One last time for now. B. nice. Now, because it's non-legato, fingering can be different. It can actually be more comfortable. Move more often. Or three. Okay, so the left hand maintains the outline of the preceding melody. I think I'll use that same 5/4. That's nice. 4/3. But the right hand has repeated notes. And I'm going to use a fingering that guarantees that my hand will automatically shift over. In other words, instead of doing something like this is in 69, 1, 2, 2, and repeating the finger while I repeat the key, I'm going to get to fourth finger on E, then 1, 3, and then 2, 4. That automatically takes care of the grouping for me. Okay, now I wonder, oh, I see, because of where I might consider adjusting my bottom finger, approaching that chromatic that I talked about, just for the sake of familiar fingering. Instead of 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 5, then that would give me the old super comfort. 4, 3. Yes, that's more consistent. 1, 3, 4. Extra thumbs then in the right hand. That was because the right was reacting to the left. Now that the left hand has changed, I'm going to adjust my right hand. I'll stop for a sec.